Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first day of the Lean and Clean Challenge. And this is actually a weekly food prep video. So there are a few things that need to be done for this challenge ahead of time. And you don't have to do them ahead of time, honestly, but it's just going to save you a lot of time and effort in the long run. So I really would recommend following Hannah's recommendations and doing these few things ahead of time. There are a couple things actually that will be eaten during the week that probably could be prepped ahead of time as well, but this is a good start. I will let you know as I go through the challenge if there were other things that I really think should have been made on the first day for food prep as well. The one I'm thinking of distinctly, I believe, is day 2, where there's chili. If I have to be at work and eat, there's no way I'm going to slow cook a pot of chili and still eat it at work. So that might be a little bit of a challenge. So we'll see. I'll look into that a little bit more in the next day. So first things first, she says to bake sweet potatoes, and it actually just says to bake a bag of sweet potatoes, and her recommendation is 450 degrees for 35 to 45 minutes until they come out with a fork poked clean. So yesterday I was making banana chocolate chip muffins, vegan ones, for my kids for breakfast, and so the oven was already hot and was already at 350 degrees, so I just decided to cook my sweet potatoes yesterday at 350 degrees. And I am a big fan of, these are Japanese sweet potatoes or Okinawa sweet potatoes. Japanese. These are the Japanese sweet potatoes. They're purple on the outside and white on the inside. Now those are really big sweet potatoes, so it's not that I got them in a package or anything. I just picked up 4. I get these at the Asian grocery store, so they're fantastic, guys. Like, for real, that is just an amazing, oh my gosh, they're so delicious. Yum. So anyway, so I cooked those yesterday. So if you're doing this, that's number 1. Go put those in the oven, start those, get those going. The next thing after that comes out of the oven, okay, next thing, let's talk about something before that. So the other thing is you're gonna make ketchup and sweet mustard dressing. So both of those require dates, and they both say to soak them in water for an hour. So right there in those 2 little containers right there, I've got one container has 4 dates, pitted dates, and one container has 6 pitted dates. So the medjool dates. And you don't need to soak them for an hour if you put them in boiling water, which is what I did. So they're in boiling water, they'll be ready to go when I'm ready to go. So that's the next thing, should get that started right away. And then you're going to need to cook 2 other things. So the next thing on our list after the sweet potatoes is to make quinoa. I don't like quinoa at all. So I am going to actually make millet. I'm not 100% sure that I love millet either, to be honest with you. I don't know. I have had millet before. This one has 4 different types of millet in it. It's just a grain. I'm not too worried about it. I could have made any number of grains, but I'm gonna go with this grain. And if this is a 2 to 1, if you're making millet, it's 2 to 1. So I'm gonna do 2 cups of this. What she wants you to do is 2 cups of dry quinoa and 5 cups of water in a medium pan, and then boil it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 cups of this and 4 cups of water, and I'm gonna follow the instructions. So that's the grain that I'm going to choose to put in stuff. If you guys like quinoa, go for that. That's totally fine. And then the next thing is something that you do want to make for ahead, like in the beginning, because as soon as your potatoes come out, you want to be able to put this in the oven. So this is a granola that she makes. It's actually quite straightforward in terms of ingredients. There's not very many ingredients here. So you need 1 cup of oats, and you need 1 cup of mulberries. I don't have any mulberries, and it does specifically say that you could substitute raisins or dried berries of any sort. So rather than going out and finding mulberries and spending a bunch of money on them, I'm just going to use organic raisins that we buy at Costco. Excuse me, my eyeball is itchy. This also calls for 8 medjool dates that are pitted. So we buy them in a really big container at Costco. And so I've got 8 dates in there. I've already pitted the dates. It's no big deal. And then a 1/4 cup of water and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. We just also use cinnamon from Costco, so we're getting a little bit low. Need to get some more. You put that in your food processor and you process it. It says until combine all ingredients in food processor and process until well combined. Spread out on parchment paper and place on a baking tray. Bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes and then store. And she also says to feel free to make a double batch because it's a really great snack and she really likes it. So I'm going to make a single batch to try it to start with. And then got potatoes done. I'm going to start the millet, and I'm going to get this put up together because my stove is already ready to go and waiting for me. And I'm going to get this in the oven, and then I'm going to clean up my counter, and we're going to go to step 2, which step 2 will be three different like dressing-ish type things. One of the things that she does recommend making ahead of time is pre-made salsa, and I'll just let you know right now I don't need to make that. She has 4 Roma tomatoes, 1/4 of a medium red onion, 1/4 cup of fresh cilantro, and juice from 1 lime. Chop your tomatoes, red onion, cilantro into bite-sized pieces. Drizzle with lime juice, refrigerate, and combine and eat in a week. I don't need to make salsa. My husband always makes salsa, and he sweetens it with dates, and he doesn't use any salt. So there's no oil. So there's no oil, no salt, no sugar, no anything in his salsa. So I'm just gonna go with that. So I'll need to make a sweet mustard dressing. I will need to make some ketchup and some tzatziki sauce, which is, I'm sure I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but whatever. It is a basically for Greek or Mediterranean-ish type dishes. So I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm going to get all the ingredients out for the sauces, and we're gonna take that with step 2. So I'll be back soon. All right, so let's make some ketchup. This recipe is super, super straightforward, like super easy. I have no idea what it's gonna taste like, but that's not what this part of the video is about. This is just about making stuff. So I could use a smaller one of these, I'm guessing, but I'm going to just use this and then use it for the mustard and use it for the tzatziki sauce. But I don't know if the other 2 need a bigger container, so I'm just gonna use the bigger one. Anyways, so this calls for 1/2 cup of water, and you know that I have the dates, they were soaking. So I used 1/2 cup of water that was on the dates and just got rid of the rest of the water because it would have to be sweet and stuff. So 1/2 cup of water is going in here, and then 4 soaked pitted dates are going in there. You need an entire 6-ounce container of tomato paste. So I'm pretty sure that doesn't matter what brand tomato paste you buy, that they are all the same. All that is in there are tomatoes. And I just made a mess on the container. Anyways, we just happened to buy ours I don't use tomato paste that much, but we just buy ours at Costco in a big box with a bunch of different little jars in there, and it's organic and whatever. That's just what we buy. But you can just buy one single little container at the store if you want to. Trying to clean up my mess. Okay, and then it calls for 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. So there's our apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of that. It also calls for 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. I actually just have garlic little granules, so that's what I'm going to use. So 1/4 teaspoon of that, and 1/4 teaspoon of oregano. So there's that. All right, so basically you blend this, you mix it up, and you put it in a container, and you put it in the refrigerator. So this one is pretty darn straightforward. And that's what that is. That's what I'm gonna go do, and we'll be back in a minute to do some mustard and some tzatziki sauce. Alrighty guys, next sauce is sweet mustard dressing. So I did not realize that I was running so low on tahini. So this is the tahini that we buy. We just get it at Kroger. It's an organic one. The only thing in here is organic ground toasted sesame seeds. I don't have 4 tablespoons. Like, there's no way there's 4 tablespoons in here. But there should be about 2. So I'm going to put this in the container to blend it. And then I'm going to put in, so there's probably about 2 tablespoons there. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in it as well. So it does say tahini or almond butter, so you could use almond butter. We don't have almond butter, but I do have organic peanut butter also from Costco. And this has dry roasted organic peanuts and sea salt, but in 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, there's only 40 milligrams of sodium, so it's really, really super low sodium. I'm not actually too worried about this, to be honest with you. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons, making a mess. Oh my gosh. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, so 2 and 2. So we got 2 tablespoons of tahini and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter in there. And then it calls for your 6 dates. So there are my dates that have been soaking. And it also calls for 2 tablespoons of salt-free mustard or 1 teaspoon of ground mustard. So I'm just going to use a teaspoon of ground mustard. It also calls for 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. Again, I've got garlic granulated, but whatever, good enough. Apparently I need to turn this on its side. Oh man, guys, a teaspoon of ground mustard is a lot. We'll see. I don't like mustard. All right, that's in there. And then 3/4 cup of water. So again, going to blend this, put it together. I'm sure this is going to be for like a salad dressing or something, or maybe to put over a sweet potato recipe of some sort. I'm not sure. I will let you know what it tastes like when we get to it, because I don't know. But I might actually have my husband taste it and let me know what he thinks. And if I don't like it, if I really, really, really don't like it, when it comes time to eat it, I will have my husband taste it and tell me what he thinks about it, because he likes mustard. My 9-year-old loves mustard. I might ask them for their opinion so that I can give you an honest opinion from somebody who actually likes mustard, rather than from me who I don't like mustard. So we'll see. Gonna go blend this and move on to number 3. Alrighty guys, last but not least, tzatziki sauce. So you need, and I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier when I mentioned the cashews, I mean the medjool dates, but you do need 1/4 cup of cashews that have been soaked. So again, if you use hot boiling water, you don't have to soak them for nearly as long. In fact, you don't have to soak them for not very long at all, and they'll blend up nicely. So 1/4 cup of those that have been soaking, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. We buy an organic lemon juice and a lime juice at the store, and that's what we use always. Every once in a while I'll buy a lemon or a lime. Once in a while, not very often. Then 1 clove of garlic. For those of you that have been watching my videos for a little bit, you know we buy garlic in like a massive quantity of garlic. So, and we'll use that in, geez, a couple months at most, like maybe even less than that. I don't know. We go through a lot of garlic in our house. Then 1/2 of a cucumber, and I didn't read the instructions, so for some reason my brain was thinking I was going to blend the sauce and mix this in afterwards, but apparently no, you just put everything in the blender and blend it. So I was chopping them nice and pretty and like little bitty bite size cucumbers. No, not necessary. So anyway, 1/2 of a cucumber peeled, roughly chopped. Don't get me wrong, her instructions do not say finely chopped. So her instructions aren't the problem. I need to read. And then dried dill, 1 teaspoon. I am not a huge fan of dill, so this teaspoon of dill might be like insane, but we're gonna go for it. We're gonna try everything the way that she has it and see if I need to tweak something. And then 1/3 cup of water. So there we go, tzatziki sauce. So that's gonna be used during the week as well. And I'm going to go blend that and put it together, and then I will do a pan over of the few things that I've made so far and let you guys see it all. Alright, so here are our cooked Japanese sweet potatoes. Got some ketchup, some sweet mustard dressing, some tzatziki sauce, granola, and this is my substitute for quinoa, which is the millet. So all in all, guys, obviously these were cooked yesterday, so those don't really count in the time frame, but food prep and preparing and mixing and cleaning, and my kitchen is relatively cleaned up, to be honest with you. I've got just a few dishes sitting in the sink still because I clean as I go a lot of times. Yeah, all in all, about an hour. So I don't think that's too bad for 3 sauces, a pot on the stove, granola that had to be baked, and all of that could have been going while the potatoes were cooking. So yeah, hour to an hour and 15 minutes tops, and that includes cleaning my kitchen. So that's not too bad, guys. Alright, so this is food prep for week 1 video done, and I will see you guys for tomorrow.